Hey everybody, Jim Davis along with the Buckeye Boy from the Jim Davis Show. Weekday mornings 7 to 10 on Colorado Sports Leader. The team, all right, the Rockies, as we shoot this today on a Wednesday, half game up for the second wild card over St. Louis. And now just right there, a half game out of the National League West lead. Thank you, Arizona Diamondbacks. Thank you for the walk-off win last night over the Dodgers. So we could have this wild four-way tie that could create play-in games coming up on Monday, all kind of things. Like, I don't think we think that's going to happen. We think it's going to get resolved this weekend. But isn't it nice for the Rockies to be in this position right now where they're playing their best baseball and they're getting some help from Milwaukee and also Arizona?
Yeah, it's nice that, you got Milwaukee. They're going to be moving on in a series. St. Louis is also in the wild card chase. They have the Cubs coming up. And the thing about the Brewers' hot streak is they're only a half game back of the Cubs. So it's not like the Cubs are mailing it in and resting guys, because there's a nightmare scenario for them to where, Rockies sweep the Nationals, the Giants sweep the Dodgers, and if the Cubs get swept, they could be left out of the playoffs altogether. That's a nightmare scenario for them, so they want to try to win too. So St. Louis is not set to that second wild card slot, which the Rockies now own. They're a half game up on them. You got the Dodgers and the Giants. Big game for the Rockies. Tonight's game is huge. Big game tomorrow because the Dodgers are off. That's the half game. The Rockies have one more game to play than everybody else. A lot of teams are off tomorrow on Thursday. That's the huge game for the Rockies, that they need to win that getaway game against the Phillies.
And look, we had the question today on the program, if the Rockies make the playoffs, blank deserves the credit for that. I think Kyle Freeland does. There are a lot of things you can attribute to the Rockies, but Kyle Freeland has been that stabilizing force in the rotation, the ace of this staff. The resurgence of this guy, Charlie Blackmon, has also helped. 17-game hitting streak, as we talked today. And then, of course, David Dahl. I don't care. Baby Dahl. Okay, I can live with that nickname if David Dahl keeps doing what he's doing right now. Another jack last night, opposite field hit, opposite field home run. He's been absolutely great. But we'll have the Rockies and the Phillies tonight, also tomorrow. We'll have updates on Friday with the Rockies in Washington during our coverage of high school football. And then we'll have the Rockies Saturday and Sunday, where we will find out if the Rockies are a playoff-bound team. And, of course, we'll have all the postseason action with the Rockies, with Rocktober on the team. Also, we have a big Thursday night high school football game. Your number one team in the 4A RPI right now with Montrose. They're 4-0. Fruita Monument, they're 3-1. They're 9th in the RPI right now. Big game on Thursday night between those two. And when you look at this game, Montrose, I think we expected some growing pains. They lost a lot of talent from last year. We expected Fruita, with all the talent they had coming back, to be once again a contender in 4A. But it's taken a while for the Wildcat offense to get going, and now that they move Case and Gissner into that backfield, boy, all of a sudden this makes for a great matchup. Montrose playing great offense and defense, and Fruita Monument now doing the same with this matchup at Stoker.
Yeah, Fruita Monument had some injuries, some inconsistency. They moved some things around on the offensive line. They had to move Case and Gissner from being your split wide receiver to a running back because of the injury to Jacob Burns. So it took them a little bit to kind of find their footing and figure out how to play together. And they had their bye week. They went over, knocked off Chatfield, and then they took down Grand Junction last week. It's going to be a huge matchup. And Montrose just keeps churning out football players that, it'll carry 25, 30 times. It's not going to be pretty, 125, 130 yards, a couple scores. The stat sheet's not going to look great, but they're going to come away with a win. And they've had a couple of last-second, late-game wins against Central, Durango, and Palisade now. That helps their 4-0 start, so they're really battle-tested.
Yeah, for Brett Mertens, Keegan Goodwin, the sophomore quarterback's been really good. Should be a great matchup Thursday night on the Team Sports Network. Pregame at 6:05, 7 o'clock kickoff. High school football brought to you by Ken Richards, State Farm Insurance. And then on Friday night, Palisade is the number one team right now in 3A in the RPI. They take on Evergreen. They're a top 10 team in RPI right now. We'll have that game on Friday night also on the Team Sports Network. And the Rifle Bears, they take on Coleridge. We'll have that game on Friday night on 14 of the team. That starts at 6:30. So may the force be with you, Colorado Rockies, in their pursuit.
The Browns are 1-1-1.
Of Rocktober.
Hey, we're holding up our knickknacks, so I wanted to do mine as well. Avs start on the 4th, too, by the way.
Right here on the team. Until next time, see ya.